Hi, today we are going to discuss about MuleSoft. MuleSoft is something integration where we can develop some kind of code builders and all everything. So, which is something useful for us to design, develop, and deploy the application programming interfaces, which is what we call it as API in short and integrations. At the same time, if you want to create any kind of data graphs in reference to the APIs, what is that we have created so far, that also can be done. Along with that, there are some management centers where if you want to manage any kind of accesses, all that stuff, even if you want to manage the users, because users may be of anyone, whoever the users may be, and how many users do we have. It depends on the kind of users, how many we have taken so far. So based on that, how many users are we using and what are the different business groups we have. Followed by this, whatever the kind of audit lags, whichever happening in regular intervals and all everything can be done using this access management. At the same time, even API manager will also be used for that, where we need to manage the client's policies. At the same time, service level authentications, right? So all these things can be done in this API manager. Followed by this, runtime manager is being used to deploy and as well as manager the deployed applications, because any application, whenever we are working on the application, once the implementation done, right? So in reference to the coding, testing, all that, one has to be deployed. So without any deploying means we don't usually we go ahead. So deploying and managing the application is essentially important. Followed by this, we need to deploy the application as well. So deploying based upon the requirement of the customer as well as the configuration what they have. So these deployments and all everything come into picture here. So once the deployment is done, then next we need to know about the API governance part, because whatever the governance standards, policies, and procedures do we require to follow in order to make this application more convenient and successful, this API governance is being used. Followed by this, we can visualize the application network, depending on the kind of visualizers, what we have, all that stuff. At the same time, monitoring as well as searching and as well as troubleshooting the requirements, as well as the progress of the activities, all these things can be done under these managing management center. Last but not least, if you want to manage any kind of public keys like SSL certification, communication, all that, using the secret manager, we can do this. So this is what the whole understanding as well as introduction relating to MuleSoft itself is concerned. So if you want to create any kind of code builders, as I mentioned you, here you have an option called Get Started. Of course, it's a beta version nowadays is being used in MuleSoft, where whatever the kind of building of your APIs, all that stuff, everything has to be mentioned here. So now, if you want to get any kind of accessibility of all that stuff, but of course, Code Builder, as I mentioned in the sometime back, it's a kind of beta version which was released by the MuleSoft. So the beta version has some limitations, all that. So that is one thing which one has to understand. So in reference to the Code Builder, all that stuff. At the same time, even for the design center, this can be used. Sometime back, I have given the introduction about the design center part as well. So here we can create different API projects. Whatever the API projects do we have? So filter project by name. Otherwise, we can create filters, right? So first of all, we have to create a new API specification. Like for example, uh, online banking is what the project name I have taken. Okay, I'm comfortable designing on my own because I don't require anyone's guidance, all that stuff. So if you want to have any kind of guidance and all in reference to the visual interface coding and all that, scaffolding for API integrations, system can give you that, right? That is one thing. Otherwise, if you are comfortable to design on your own, that can be designed. But point to be noted, depends on the kind of expertise what an individual has, this can be chosen. Otherwise, if we are a new learner or new one who is working on the MuleSoft, which is recent on it times, so it is always better to go for guide me through it, right? So that it is better, so that I will show you an idea to you, right? So you can create API for that particular project design center we are creating. Yeah, this is what generally the design center which was created here. Now you can see here we need to mention about the kind of title of new API 1, like whatever the versions do we have and all, everything has to be mentioned. At the same time, we need to select the protocols. You can see here, whatever the protocols we have selected, depends on that. You can see all that can be mentioned here. At the same time, you are using media type as it JSON or XML is what. So I'm just selecting XML so that you can see here. At the same time, if you want to have any kind of baseline URLs, all that stuff, that URLs can be incorporated. So if you want to add any kind of URLs, all that stuff, that URLs can be added here. Parameter name, for example, right? So let's say, for example, as a column icon, so that you can see here, column was integrated. Type of it, whatever the type of objective or a string or something, like all this can be added into this existing. So at the same time, if you want to create any new ones, column, I'm just mentioning it as a row. Okay, that's what it is. I'm doing it. So, and if you want to add any kind of documentation in reference to that, you can add the documentation, whatever is required. So online banking document, right? So is what I was just mentioning here, right? So if you want any documentation, which can be, you can see all these can be downloaded here accordingly. So this is how generally this design centers and all everything is being created using this MuleSoft is all about. For more information as well as any kind of training needs, please reach out to the contact details, which will be posted in below to this video. Thank you.